What's up, YouTube? This is your girl, Megan. Welcome back to the Hood Astro Queen, to all of my returning subscribers. However, if this is your first time on my channel, today hit that sub button because you know you want to. All y'all at home on quarantine, for the most part, unless your job just does not give a fuck about you, which is okay because I fall in that category too. My job doesn't really give a fuck about me either, but you know, for the most part, everybody's at home. And instead of scrolling on the internet and finding more reasons to lose your mind and be afraid of the world because the apocalypse is coming, you might as well hit the sub button, check out this good astro content, and join the family. You know what I mean? So that leads me into today's video, which is obviously going to be over this COVID-19 pandemic, aka the coronavirus.
Guess what, bitch? Coronavirus! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is getting real! Shit is real! Coronavirus! Shit is real! Shit is.
So before we get into the astrological perspective of this whole pandemic, let's just talk about facts and science, okay? Which I know a lot of people are not reading. Clearly, people don't like to read. If it's not on their timeline, social media feed, they don't go out of their way to actually read. And I will link all of my resources, all of my references in the description box for those who care to look into it further. But this is basically what I've deduced about the virus. So what we know to be the coronavirus is actually a catch-all term that includes a lot of other different strands that could translate into like the regular flu, the seasonal flu, the common cold. However, COVID-19 in and of itself is a newer and what seems to be a lot more aggressive, just being honest, strand of the coronavirus, okay? And basically, from what researchers and scientists have observed thus far, even though they know very little about the strand, that it impacts people's internal organs, vital organs, in a very detrimental way. And a lot of people have been very scared because, especially if you're just relying on the news, mainstream news for your source of information, it's kind of framed like, okay, who's going to get it next? Who's going to get it next? We're going to die. The person next to you, kiss them goodbye. Your mother, kiss that bitch goodbye because we're gone. Like, and I'm not downplaying the seriousness of any disease, any illness, flu, coronavirus, or COVID-19 for that matter. However, they're saying that one of the prominent ways to catch this strand of disease is sneezing, coughing, or, you know, being around people who are sneezing, coughing, bodily fluids, exchanging them, touching contaminated surfaces, being in high traffic areas, and so on and so forth. Therefore, it's good to basically practice basic hygiene. I would argue washing your hands regularly, avoiding touching your face before you put some hand sanitizer on that bad boy. You know, just things like that. Just being very mindful and cognizant, practicing social distancing. And to be honest, these are things that people should be doing seasonally anyway, just to help combat the threat of catching any other strand of coronavirus, the seasonal flu per se. But what do I know? I'm just a Virgo moon. Okay, I'm a hypochondriac, germaphobe by nature. So all of my prominent Virgo people feel me, whether you're a Virgo moon, Virgo sun, Virgo south node, especially, okay? This is our motherfucking time to shine, bitch. We're looking at everybody like, welcome to our world, okay? This is how we live on a day-to-day basis. But nonetheless, these are things that I would argue could be kind of like common sense. It's okay, absolutely okay to be cautious because I'm not downplaying the seriousness of catching a disease in any shape, form, or fashion. But I did want to put a few things into context because I do also at the same time feel that mass hysteria and outrage is not only counterproductive, but it's actually pushing a narrative. And I can debunk and kind of unpack the narrative portion of it during the astrology portion. However, I do want to share some statistics with you, okay? And this is actually coming from the worldometersinfo.com. So as of today, which is March 17, 2020, at 17:35, like that's military time. I don't know how to read that, so y'all let me know what time it is. As of now, globally, there are 1,094,516 documented cases of the coronavirus. And there are actually 7,892 deaths. Now, I wasn't the best at math, nor am I downplaying the people who have actually succumbed to this disease, right? But this stat does not tell me you catch the disease and your ass is your history. Like, kiss your ass goodbye. So that's just that on that. And then also, to date, there have been 81,085 people documented, of course. Obviously, we know the numbers could vary. But according to this, 81,085 people have recovered. So, I mean, it's, once again, not to say don't take it seriously, go out and get the corona today. Who cares, right? No. But I am saying that this is not necessarily zombie apocalypse happening at our front door. And according to reports, the most vulnerable group at risk for actually dying due to the disease are people ages 60 and up, and those who already have compromised immune systems. So maybe if you're HIV positive, if you have, cancer or any other underlying complication that could obviously really open up and make you very vulnerable to such an aggressive strand of coronavirus like this. So it's just like, guys, the fear mongering is so unnecessary and it's so just unproductive. What good is walking around living in fear, feeling like the world is going to end? Everybody got it. You got it. I got it. We're going to die. What does that do? And so those of you all who subscribe to that mindset, please drop down in the comment section and let me know what that's doing for you. Is it help making your life better? Do you feel safer? Like those of y'all who went out and bought all of the motherfucking toilet tissue, does your ass feel cleaner? Do you feel safer? Do you feel more protected? I'm trying to know. Also, as far as America is concerned, there have been 5,704 confirmed cases. Obviously, there could be more. I'm sure there is more because America has a shortage of tests, which means I'm not sure about what state you guys are in who are watching this, but in Georgia, you have to meet certain requirements in order to even take that coronavirus testing kit. And obviously, most of the people who are affected by this, or a lot of people who are affected by the virus, don't even have symptoms. So it's like, that's how the virus is spread, because you guys are picking and choosing who to test, because we're not even well equipped enough to handle the pandemic. So that's an honest and a fair critique to make. And that, I'm not gonna lie, it does make me nervous. It's like, what the fuck are we doing? We're not even well equipped to handle the situation. But nonetheless, there are 1,041 confirmed new cases. But of this number, there are 97 deaths and 11 new deaths. But we're talking about in America, like everybody in America, like millions and millions of people in America. So it's just like, once again, not meaning don't be concerned. But to me, the outrage machine or the fear machine, the hysteria machine is not really in sync with what the hard numbers are. So, in my opinion, the government should be taking this time, instead of trying to scare the shit out of everyone, to really turn within and figure out what the fuck they're going to do financially to help make this a more efficient and productive process where they can actually practically screen more people, diagnose more people, treat more people, and move forward so that we can, handle the situation the best way we can. I mean, China handled it perfectly, and that's partly because they've also dealt with other pandemics in the past. So, but that's a different video for a different day. So now that we've been to class, let's take a step out of science class and head on down to our astrology class, Astrology 101, okay? Because I do want to cover some of the transits and what this pandemic means from an astrological perspective, okay? So as of Friday the 13th, 2020, I use this date because for me, that's when my entire community neighborhood came crashing down, okay? Schools closing, toilet tissue was in scarcity, and so on and so forth. But transiting Mars was at the 18th degree of Capricorn, conjoined to Jupiter, which is at the 21st degree of Capricorn. Not to mention, we have like a mean ass Capricorn stellium going on. And this absolutely enhances the power of the government, which can result in, number one, an increase in war, which is another transition that we have kind of slowly been trickling into even since the Obama era. Same thing with increased surveillance. That's another manifestation. And government interference. We are living in a surveillance state. There have been several bills, several laws passed, once again, even during the Obama era. So all of my, we miss Obama, where are you? We miss Obama type of people, shut the fuck up, okay? Because he plays a very prominent role in creating the country, or at least upholding the standards that we live in within this oligarchy, just as much as Trump, just as much as Bill Clinton did, and just as much as George Bush did. So let's just cut the bullshit. Let's cut the left wing, right wing propaganda. Both wings are attached to the same bird, and the bird is shitting all over your ass, okay? So with that being said, this Capricorn stellium, particularly Mars conjoined to Jupiter in Capricorn, deals with the government restricting people's freedom, okay? Jupiter is the planet of travel. It's also the planet of politics, fascinatingly enough. Is fascinatingly a word? I just said it. Fuck it, okay? So you can even look at this aspect that Mars conjoined to Jupiter as the politicization of warfare, corporate influence in politics, which is, it's been going on for a very long time now. Once again, Obama being one of the biggest purveyors of this offense. Also, this deals with restricted travel because you guys know around this time, people are strongly advised to not go out of the country, to not be on airplanes if they don't have to. Now, if you a nigga like myself, we're seeing the cheap ass flights. Like, bitch, you can go to Greece for like $10. I wouldn't go out the country, but seriously, like if you're trying to fly to California, you got some family members, just book the trip a few months out. Now is the time to get your tickets. The fuck is you talking about? But nonetheless, we see this manifestation happening before our eyes. Transiting Saturn is at the 29th degree of Capricorn, conjoined to Pluto. And those of y'all who watch my channel know the importance of that 29th degree. It's the anaretic degree. It's the crisis degree. It is the degree of instability. And even when you look at this time period, right, it's extreme. It brings about extreme and unsustainable type of energy. And with that Capricorn influence, obviously we're talking about from the perspective of the government, our society, radical transformation of the government, rules being rewritten, a shift of power, even a lack of job security. Because you guys know, aside from the obvious health crisis at hand, the economy is in shambles, at least in America, right? People are staying home. I actually got laid off of my job, y'all, just real deal spill. So like, it just is what it is. Like, people's lives are being impacted in real ways. And I know there have been a lot of articles talking about, the government is proposing a bill that's going to give a certain amount of money to people impacted by the coronavirus, or, just little things to help stimulate the economy a little bit, because, the stock market is crashing. So all of that is definitely encompassed within that Saturn-Pluto transit. And it's going to, the transit is a long transit because we're dealing with two heavy hitting planets. So, the effects could last for quite some time. And as a result, this will bring about an increased dependency on social safety nets, which, interestingly enough, because we live in an oligarchy where you have like the corporations influencing our government and politics, they get the social safety net, but the people down at the bottom, the working class people, the lower class people, blue collars, not so much. But that Saturn Pluto transit is really shifting this shit and turning everything on its head. This is also reinforced by the fact that Saturn will enter Aquarius March 21st all the way up to July 1st. And I read an article saying that Donald Trump, El Cheeto himself, announced that we will be dealing with a lot of these remnants of the coronavirus all the way up until July, maybe even August. So I thought that was kind of interesting. However, during this time, social security programs will be needed, as employment and security will be shakier than ever. And Saturn in Aquarius brings about those things. Government entitlement programs. So I wouldn't be surprised if people had to get checks every month. The government is really going to have to find a way to offset a lot of this economic upheaval. There's also going to be an increased reliance on technology, and that could come about as further reinforced with that Saturn Aquarius type of influence. Now, on the negative side, this could deal with what a lot of people have been talking about for a long time, which is like the automation of jobs. So like having your job ruled by or just phased out altogether because they found out there's a machine or a computer or a robot that can do what you do. So we don't need you anymore. But on the more positive end, like I said, the government is going to have to do something, because this is going to really impact the lives of some more people than the virus itself. Now, with that being said, Saturn is also squaring Uranus. Uranus is actually at the 4th degree of Taurus, which I thought to be very interesting, because this actually deals with the sudden collapse or upset of financial commerce. It could also produce economic upheavals due to uncertainty. And you can look at this as the stock market crash. Taurus even also deals with resources, agriculture. So like there being a shortage in food, people buying up all the food, or even I could even see this having long lasting effects as far as like the way farmers are able to grow crops and so on and so forth. So we're in for some very scary ass times. This time period, this transit rather, could even deal with people having to find ways to earn money without relying on the economy. So people really getting in their own bag as far as like side jobs, hustles. And for all of you guys who are really big in the occult community, all of my tarot readers, all of my fellow astrologers out there, professional astrologers and tarot readers, now is our time to shine, because Uranus and Taurus actually legitimizes the metaphysical. So this could be a time where we're really like shining, you're really expanding your brand, especially, or just really anybody who's making money in a way that's kind of unorthodox, because the tried and true system is on verge of collapse. And that's just honest. This time period reflects a clash between the old and new, the social safety net versus the oligarch capitalist system that we've currently lived in. There could also be drought, famine, like I said, which could absolutely bring about a detrimental impact to agriculture, food. So we're talking about the prices for food skyrocketing. I could totally see that. But one of the more positive manifestations of this transit could be more technological advancements. But nonetheless, squaring Saturn in Capricorn, we're talking about like the government imploding, capitalism imploding, like bar none. Now, Venus is also conjoined to Uranus, which deals with the disruption of peace and financial security once more, limited financial resources. There could also be new currency that comes about during this time. So I'm kind of in, everybody who's been into like, the economics kind of knows that the dollar, the US dollar has been, inflated times a trillion. But nonetheless, this could definitely be a very interesting transit though. So I'm interested in seeing what this brings about and what this means for our currency, the US currency. This could also be great for friendships, this transit that Venus conjoined to Uranus, and for really finding a support system and the people that are around you, the people that you care about. Now, another huge heavy hitting transit that absolutely impacts what's going on is the sun at the 23rd degree of Pisces, which, this was Friday, of course. It was actually conjoined to Neptune at the 18th degree. So that sun Neptune transit is very telling, okay? Because, number one, we're dealing with illness. So obviously, corona, okay? But furthermore, deception. There could be an increased sensitivity to the environment and suffering of others. So the intuitives and people who actually are being depressed and filled with anxiety during this time, a lot of that is because of the Sun Neptune transit. This could bring about lots of panic and chaos, but people who are very receptive to this could be drained, But on the other hand, intuitives, light workers, my mediums, fellow astrologers, and healers, we can shine during this transit as our healing energies are going to be most needed now. So it's like, here we are, babies. Come to us. It's okay. But yeah, we're talking about high level conspiracy, high level deception, high level like scandal and secrecy and a lot of underhanded shit going on. And when you add that to that Capricorn stellium, it's literally like the perfect recipe for a hidden agenda. And I hate to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but it's just in the stars. It is what it is. So, that concludes my briefing on the coronavirus. But I really wanted to sink my teeth into it because I know it is a huge topic that is impacting people by the millions, if not from a health standpoint, a financial standpoint, and myself being one of those people because it's fucking with my money. And I don't like my money fucked with. So y'all drop down in the comment section. Let me know how you feel. How are you handling this situation? What are your thoughts? And make sure you practice unconditional self-love so that you can love others. And until the next video.